Welcome back to Mr. Wicklam's Virtual Math Classroom, where today what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about just an introduction into ratios and what ratios are. When we look at a ratio is a comparison between two numbers. Usually you are going to find a ratio in odds. So the odds are 1 and 10 million. For instance, so usually when you see odds are what that signifies is a ratio, and we're going to look at some odds. We're going to look at a real life example. We all know that Mr. Wicklam enjoys his Tim Hortons coffee. Well, when it's roll up the rim season, I get a little more excited because there's chances to win free coffee, and there's an odd in that. There's an odds in winning a free coffee, or a ratio. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some. So the odds of winning there's a Honda Civic available, and the odds of winning that, so what the ratio is 1, and these two dots right here, you can fill in the word in. So 1 in 10 million. Okay, the odds of winning a Tim card, which had, I think it was like $500 on it, is 1 in 100,000. And the odds of winning a coffee are 1 in 3. Well, what do these numbers mean? So what the numbers mean is that there is 1, which is the winner. So you're a winner for every 3 cups of coffee sold. And so what that means, technically speaking, is that means if I went and I bought 3 large coffees, I should win a coffee or a donut because it was a food product. So if I went to the Tim Hortons down the road through the drive-through and I said, give me a large coffee and give me a large hot chocolate for Mr. Joseph and a large French vanilla cappuccino for Miss Balma, then the next thing you know is one of us should have won a free coffee or a food product, because one of us had a cup out of the 3 where we should have won. And so I would have had to have bought 10 million coffees, usually at the same time. You can't just spread them out over time. You have to buy them at once. So 10 million coffees, and I might have had a chance to win. That doesn't mean that I would have. That just means the odds are 1 in 10 million. That's the ratio that I would have won the car. So that's what a ratio is. It's a comparison between two numbers. So for instance, the roll up the rim stuff. Okay? What we're going to do is we're just going to look at a simple drawing. And we're going to look at the ratio of circles to squares. Well, you can count how many circles I have. So I have 3 circles to 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. So what this tells me is that I have less circles than squares. That's really all that tells me. And that's what the ratio is. We're comparing the number of circles to squares. Let's do the ratio of triangles to circles. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triangles. I have 1, 2, 3 circles, which means that I have a little bit more, or I have 2 more triangles than I do circles. Okay? What we're going to do is we're just going to, and guys, this is fairly simple. Ratios aren't a big deal. You'll get them fairly easily. So last but not least, it says, what does the ratio 5 to 4 describe? Well, what that means is that we want to know what we have 5 of. So let's see, what do we have 5 of? We have 5 triangles. We have 5 triangles and 4 of something, 4 squares. Ratios always also come in handy when you're cooking and you're doing a recipe. So for instance, you might need 1 cup of water for every 3 cups of flour. So what would our ratio be? Our ratio would be 1 to 3, because we're comparing the two numbers, meaning 1 cup of water for every 3 cups of flour. So that's also another way that ratios are used. They can be used in baking, because you need a 1 to 3. If somebody says I need a 1 to 3 ratio for cups of water to flour, then that's what they're talking about. You could have a 4 to 8. So 4 water for every 8 eggs. I don't know. I'm just making things up. But that's the ratio. Okay, so all a ratio does is it just compares two different numbers. Alright? This is not very difficult work. You should be able to complete this very easily. And this is Mr. Wicklum signing off.